Welcome all the viewers out there to the Arraya Insights Expert Q&A. I'm Chuck Kiessling, Senior Director of Infrastructure Presales, and with me today, first-timer Javier Barron, the Workspace Team Practice Manager, who has a pretty heavy focus on the Microsoft 365 stack. Thanks for joining, Javi.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Chuck.
So today, I think I at least want to focus like some of our knowledge nuggets around Microsoft Teams adoption. And I know that a lot of people are rolling it out and everybody kind of has their own idea. What's your process?
Yeah, well, first we want to look at, the customer's reason for wanting to roll out Teams, right? It's usually surrounding collaboration, whether that's chatting, sharing files, quick meetings. That's something Teams can definitely do for them. And especially now, current state of affairs with a lot of the workforce being remote, Teams has definitely been a hot item for Arraya and implementing for customers. I think just to touch on what you said about the process, it's usually depending on the actual customer, like what they want to use Teams for, what's their appetite for Teams, right? Do they have any prior knowledge on it? Are they net new customers with Teams? So really just talking with them, kind of like this, brainstorming on what doesn't work in the collaboration space with their company, and what they're trying to achieve with the Teams rollout.
So when you say what doesn't work, what kind of things do you see that sometimes doesn't work?
Usually communication, right? Whether it's due to the fact that they have multiple platforms that they're communicating on, that they're heavy email users, and nobody likes a full mailbox. I know I don't like when I see 300 unread messages in my Outlook mailbox. Teams can definitely help solve for that. So it's usually centered around communication, everything from scheduling meetings to just one-on-one chats.
So let's say I'm an organization, I'm considering adopting Teams. I want to make sure that we're providing the best end user experience for my organization. Who do you need in that conversation?
Well, first and foremost, you need at least some kind of stakeholder with actual workforce people, right? I mean, ELT is going to use Teams a lot different than your marketing manager or your developer. So really just developing use cases on how Teams is going to benefit different areas of your company and not just focusing on a broad understanding of it. One of the things that I like to mention to customers when they're looking at adopting Teams is first and foremost, no one department uses Teams the same way no one company uses it the same way, or no one user uses it the same way. So understanding that there's a wide range of use cases for Teams is important when you're rolling it out.
So when you start your planning, right, should I start more or less with what I should use or what I shouldn't use?
Well, we usually like to approach it as, what's your current solution for chatting, for sharing files, for scheduling meetings? We try to tackle what they already know. That way we can give them quick wins rather than, there's that one saying, they don't know what they don't know, right? So if Teams is a new platform to them, they're not going to know all the capabilities. So they're not going to be able to give Arraya a checklist to say, here's what we want to do in Teams. Sometimes it's up to us to show them the capabilities, but really by talking through what their current state of affairs is with communication, with chatting, with sharing files, and then inserting Teams into that conversation on how it could either make their lives easier or make it better.
If I were a company getting ready to adopt Teams and I was talking to you, and I would say, you know what, just ask me, I'll tell you how to give it to everybody. You hear that a lot?
Yeah, actually we do. And normally if we're rolling out Teams net new, there's a few points we want to hit because there's quite a bit of configuration that goes into Teams, and the way you roll it out is important, right? I mean, the most important thing is user experience, right? Teams could be the best platform in the world for communication and collaboration, but if you don't have user adoption, then it's just going to be a wasted space. Luckily, Teams actually has and it's a dubbed name, early adopters. They have an early adopters program within Teams that helps organizations roll it out in a way that breeds user adoption. We usually select a group of pilot users to put into that early adopters program, and really it's like a free-for-all. I mean, we set parameters, right? Like messaging policies, what we want to do with archiving, how you want to do give users the functionality of creating teams or channels or meetings. But after you have all that figured out, which is more on the technical side, we usually just kind of release them into the wild and see how they fare within Teams. One of the best parts of using Teams as a platform for communication and collaboration is they have the Teams Admin Center for the technical side of the house. So while you're running this early adopters program, you give them an idea of the functionality of Teams, you show them what it can do, and then you let them loose. You can go back to this Teams Admin Center and look at utilization reports. You can look at usage reports to see how those people in that early adopters programs are faring within Teams. How many channels they're creating, how many meetings they scheduled, even down to how many chat conversations they're having, which is a great benchmark for when you want to roll it out to the wider organization.
So it definitely sounds like there's a lot more that goes into it other than let's just turn it on and give it to people. So I definitely appreciate your insight today. But before I let you go, I want to wrap it up with one quick question for you.
Shoot.
Let's make the assumption that I've rolled out Teams. Everybody's using it. Everybody loves it. They're all singing songs about me. Everybody's happy. What's next? What do I want to integrate with Teams after I've rolled it out in its standard native form?
Yeah. So you did the first step, right? People are familiarized with the app. They know how to operate in it. They're comfortable with it. There's extra steps you can go after that, what we call phase 2. And it's usually in the form of integration, right? There's a lot of automation that you could do within Teams with other applications. You could enable something like, let's say, Planner, tasks by Planner. To help people with their organization of their deliverables and projects. You could integrate even third-party applications to be viewed within Teams, and that way Team kind of becomes the default workspace application inside of your organization. No matter what that person is doing during the day, it's going to be queued up in the Teams platform. You can chat, you can share files, you can have an integration with, let's say, Salesforce, for example. You can view all your Salesforce reports within Teams. So it's kind of a centralized location of operation for your organization. Once you're ready to reach that stage, that's kind of some of the things you can do with it. And I mean, you could branch off into even more automation with the Power Platform. There's enterprise app integrations as well. There's a massive Microsoft store where enterprise apps can be integrated with your 365 tenant and specifically Teams. But to answer your question, Chuck, it's usually based off of what's a requirement that the customer has, right? Like after Teams rolled out, we ask them another question, like what's your biggest pain point? What's your challenge you're facing right now? And if it's something along the lines of multiple workloads or multiple integration points, that's something that Teams can definitely help out with.
That's a lot of information, man. I really do appreciate it, and I think that's going to require us to have you back in here a couple of times to talk through some of those key points, especially as we start focusing more on not just a Teams platform, but what can be tied together with it. So again, I really do appreciate it, and for all the viewers out there, check back in for future follow-ups with Javi, and check out our vodcast and other expert Q&A recordings at arrayasolutions.com as well as on YouTube. I hope to see you back soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.